Hey, hi, it's Sai, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I wanted to bring you the community update that Battlefield dropped as of the 6th of October. So they're currently recording, it was yesterday, and it basically explains everything to do with the launch of Battlefield, what went on in their testing, what they found out through their testing of beta, and also through the Battlefield Lab. So yeah, let's dive straight into it. So this is the Battlefield community update that was posted. It says play your way, as you can see, October 6th, 2025. Got a cool little artwork here. Yeah, I just think the artwork's always amazing from Battlefield. You've got the mortar here and everything, little LMG. Yeah, all different classes, all just there. The riot shield thing as well. And then it goes on and basically it tells us what they learned. They say, you know, hi everyone, this is basically the feedback into changes and improvements for the launch of Battlefield 6 on October 10th. So 7th today, so we're only a couple of days away now. And then they go on to state what we learned. So it says, with over 30 Battlefield Lab sessions successfully completed, a total of 92,000 hours played during the open beta, Battlefield 6 is the most tested and iterated Battlefield game in history, and player agency remains at the heart of it. So they said Battlefield 6 has more ways to play than ever, and through the open beta, we aim to validate at scale that offering multiple playlists in parallel would not compromise the authenticity of Battlefield experience. So basically, they wanted to make sure that the open weapon, the closed weapon, the multiple playlists didn't spread everyone out too much and didn't cause any sort of major issues. So then it says, here is a closer look at some of the most important data points we reviewed and our summarized findings for each. So it says class pick rates. The map layout was the main deciding factor for class pick rates. For example, support had a higher pick rate on Siege of Cairo, which is a CQC, close quarter combat focused map. On Iberian Offensive, the more long distance combat opportunities, we saw an increased pick rate for recon. So that'd be things using like a sniper, etc. And the spawn beacon, which I believe now is on assault for the launch. So yeah, obviously in the beta, it was on recon. So it says, comparing between open and closed weapon playlists, we observed mostly identical class pick rates with 1 to 2% difference at most. So there you go, hardly any difference between them. And then kills per hour, KPH, also remained virtually consistent for both playlist types. Open weapon players scored 0.2 more KPH in Conquest and 0.1 in Breakthrough. So again, not much difference at all between what you was achieving with the open and with the closed weapons. And then it goes on to match duration increased slightly within closed weapons playlist by up to 45 seconds, or about 3.75% difference for both Breakthrough and Conquest. Revives, we also observed a slightly higher revive rate for closed weapons at 3% for Breakthrough and 2% for Conquest, which coincides with the slightly longer match duration. So it's not really much of a difference. 45 seconds really is not going to be missed by anybody, and I don't think that's going to be an issue for anyone. The only thing is that the revives, obviously with it being sort of faster pace, if you're using got more people using SMGs and things, which I actually go on to talk about in this next section, then obviously you're going to have less revives because people are just going to skip and want to get straight back into the action. However, that was not found to be the case. So it says signature weapon usage. More players played with non-signature weapons in open weapon playlists. However, recon players still favored sniper rifles over other weapons, and their pick rate was identical between both playlist types. There was not a single dominant weapon archetype, and we observed a consistent and well-distributed pick rate between them. This balance shows that even with different playlist types, players explored a wide variety of options without one class standing out above the rest. One thing this also showed is that no weapon was stronger than another one. You know, you're going to get meta weapons, obviously. People favorite in other weapons. However, this really showed that there wasn't too many meta weapons because of power. It was more a case of just that people enjoyed using them, and there was no single dominant weapon that was broken. Obviously, as new weapons are introduced, you're going to get broken metas, you're going to get broken weapons from time to time. It's going to happen. One will slip under the radar. However, for the most part, this is fantastic news that they have sort of balanced everything perfectly. Time in combat, there was no differences of note for time players spent in combat between open and closed weapon playlist types. The actual differences were only fractions of a percentage where rounded up, the results were identical. So if you didn't know, pretty much all sort of scientific based studies and things, they all pretty much get a percentage and then they all get rounded up to a nearest percent. So it'll either be down or up just to make reading easier. And when they rounded it up, the results were identical. So that shows there's really no difference in between the open and closed weapon playlists. Lastly, another key insight from the open beta was that the vast majority of players, after trying both playlist types, chose to stick with open weapons. This reinforces our belief that open weapons is the right path forward for Battlefield 6. At the same time, we recognise that some players prefer the closed weapon experience. Now, to support them, official closed weapon playlists will be available at launch. This is fantastic news, I think, because it was on about that if open weapon sort of was more supported, they were going to take away closed weapon. However, they have decided to keep the closed weapon playlist, and that's for anybody that really likes the sort of identity of Battlefield, the older ones like Battlefield 3 and 4. And yeah, I think this supports everybody. It brings a lot more people into that community. And yeah, I think people are going to really appreciate them doing that, even though it's just a small thing on their end. It's a big thing on our end for the people that like closed weapons. So yeah, I think that's a really good thing. Personally, like it said, I stuck with open weapons just because I like the freedom. I really like the freedom, and that anybody can be playing anything. It adds more of a challenge, means you can play in greater different ways. So, you know, you can put an assault rifle on the recon or sniper on the assault, so you've got the spawn beacon at hand like you did with the recon class. So yeah, I think that's very helpful for the open weapons, and I just enjoyed it. Additionally, closed weapon mutators will remain part of the Portal toolset, so players can create and share their own custom experiences. So you can still use the closed weapon system in the Portal toolset when you're creating your own servers. It then goes on to menu and playlist updates. For launch, we are also making further changes and improvements to playlists and menus as a direct result of some of your feedback. They are listening, they really are. All launch maps will be available across playlists from day one, giving you the freedom to play whichever map you prefer. So by the sound of this, they're going to have that sort of like pick system where you can pick that you want Conquest on a certain map, and it will try its best to launch you into a server that is just that game and that map that you are looking for. If you can't find it, as it states just down here, you can just go into the server browser and browse for it yourself. We tested having multiple modes in a single playlist during the open beta and learned that players favoured playlists with combined modes. We will continue to iterate and adjust playlists to deliver the best Battlefield experience possible. Now, one thing I will say with this is obviously it was very limited modes on the beta, so I feel like people were testing out what they enjoy, so people are going to favour them playlists that are combined, you know, like the Conquest and Rush combined. Whereas when the game fully releases, you got more options. I think that is going to switch around. I think people will just stick to Conquest or stick to Rush, just playing, you know, on certain maps with certain modes. So yeah, I think that is going to switch around. However, hopefully they'll still listen to everything that people are saying, and yeah, like they say, they will continue to give our feedback, listen to our feedback and change things if needed. So yeah, we will continue to iterate and adjust playlists to deliver the best Battlefield experience possible. You'll have the flexibility to play in both single mode and mixed mode playlists. So there you go, you got the options right there. At launch, Conquest, Breakthrough and Escalation will each have their own dedicated playlist. Alongside these, you will see combined playlists such as Conquest and Escalation and Breakthrough and Rush. So you do not have to stop matchmaking when switching between those experiences. So obviously, Conquest and Escalation are kind of similar. Escalation is basically like the new Conquest, where the maps sort of go in to just one point at the end. And obviously then you got Breakthrough and Rush, which are similar. Breakthrough with capture points and Rush with obviously the MCOMs. If you want to focus on a specific mode outside of playlist, you can always find it through custom search and the server browser. So that's what I was on about through the portal. Custom search enables you to select which map or mode combo you prefer, and you will be match made into a match with these search criteria if available. You will have a higher chance to be match made into your preference the more you broaden your search. So, you know, if you have 4 or 5 maps selected and maybe Rush and Conquest selected, you're more likely to find a game quicker than you are if you've just got Conquest and just like a specific map, for example. Portal remains a tool for creating and customizing experiences, while the section in the main menu previously called Portal, it will now be called Community. I think that's a welcome change. I know it's only a name. However, I think Community, brings everyone together, and just gives that more sort of like family feel to the game. Just sort of like, everyone's a bit closer, things are a little bit better. So yeah, it's now going to be called Community rather than Portal. This is where you'll find the server browser, which is now prominently featured to make it easier to find and use. Separately, we will launch with Breakthrough, Conquest, and Rush as verified modes within the server browser. This enables us to, for example, feature official hardcore experiences that we know many of you are excited for. Now, personally, I played hardcore on Battlefield 2042. I never actually played it on Battlefield 3 and 4. Not even sure if it was on there, to be honest. I never saw it. It probably was on custom search. I never played it, and I really enjoyed it when I played it on 2042, so I'm excited to give it a go on Battlefield 6, because I think it will play very, very well. At launch, we'll also find new custom experiences designed to add even more gameplay variety. This will be your first choice to dive into the new and improved Battlefield Portal toolset, or Battlefield Community toolset as it's now going to be called, now featuring powerful options like spatial editing. We cannot wait to see the creative ways in which you'll use these tools to build and share your own experiences. Personally, I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit blocky, so it's going to be like, you can just get a blank canvas, you can have assets like a list, for example, of buildings and things that you can just place, because I think people will just love that and create many maps, and I know that I'll be bringing a series of creating a map if I can get used to it and I can learn how to do it. So yeah, launch playlist rotations. We've learned a lot from the open beta, and we're using your feedback as our foundation for launching Battlefield 6. When the game goes live, you'll find a range of playlist options to jump into, including single mode playlists for favorites like Breakthrough and Conquest, and I'm going to presume Rush will be on there. Closed weapons experiences, that's obviously so that you've got standard sort of guns across all of the recon, so you got sniper, assault, you got assault rifle, etc., LMG for support. Intense close quarter combat battle playlists, I can't wait for that. I really like playing a TDM and stuff like that. And it's been rumoured that there's a 4v4 coming as well. We will soon see. Action-packed all-out warfare playlist. This will be like big maps, tanks, helicopters, etc. That will be on just big maps and like Conquest. So yeah, that'll be very, very fun to see. We'll be paying close attention to your feedback, adjusting playlists, and adding new options to make sure things always feel fresh and you can easily find a match that suits your style. So then, what is on the horizon? As you can see here, they have a Season 1 preview, and that launches on October 28th. So the game comes out on the 10th. You then have like a week or two to get used to it, and they are launching Season 1 on October 28th. And this on screen right now is the free, I reiterate, free post-launch content. You have Blackwell Fields map coming on October 28th called Rogue Ops. That's what they've called the section. And you've got some new snipers. You've got an assault rifle, a new pistol coming. You got Strike Point, whatever that is. That'd be pretty cool. New modes already. And then you got a rail cover and a new weapon, transport by the looks of it. So yeah, that'd be very, very interesting. And then on November 18th, so only another few weeks away, you got California Resistance with Eastwood, which is going to be a new map. Looks very bright and colourful, looks very exciting, looks like it's pulled straight from the Battle Royale, but we shall see. And you got a game mode called Sabotage. You got battle pickups coming, not sure what that quite entails yet. And then you got DB12 shotgun, another pistol, looks like a Magnum type gun, and also a new stock. And then you've got Winter Offensive, which is going to ice lock Empire State. New map, so obviously it's just going to be a wintry version of Empire State. Very, very interesting. And you got an ice lock game mode, I think that is, so we'll see what that is. And an ice pick as well to match the aesthetic of winter and obviously Christmas coming up. And it would be cool to see whether they continue this sort of into the Christmas period, if there's going to be any other new maps coming that are wintry. So yeah, it would be very good to see. And it says our seasons will have more content than ever before in Battlefield game, and we will unpack that with you in more detail during an upcoming moment. So I'm going to presume that means they're going to release a little video on what is going to be coming. There is much more to look forward to beyond our seasons as our team continues reviewing Battlefield Labs data, player feedback, and ideating on completely new ideas for the future. Starting with an exciting new Battlefield take on Battle Royale. Obviously, we all know that's coming. Going to be content on here. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe because there is going to be content on that as well. Separate requests for naval warfare have not gone unnoticed. I'm very excited for this. I love the naval warfare. Nor have the calls for a certain fan favorite little helicopter, platoons, and more. So it sounds like these things are going to be coming in the future. You're going to have the helicopter come back, the little bird, and also, yeah, you're going to have like naval warfare. Hopefully it'll be, you know, maps a bit like we're on Battlefield 3, where you've got like the little islands and a lot of water and stuff to play on. And then you've got platoons. I'm not quite sure what that is, and obviously more stuff as well. So we appreciate all of your suggestions and want you to know that we are listening. So they are listening to us, and that is good to see. And it says that we're excited to continue to build a Battlefield that reflects that players want. If you want to keep up to date with all of this, obviously you can go over to the Battlefield Discord for more discussions and the latest updates. So it says what's up next. The following gameplay updates will be included on our launch day patch with over 200 changes focused on bug fixes, balance improvements, and polish for release. So this is everything that's basically been changed sort of through their testing and everything that is going to be coming into the game as of launch. So it says player, you'll notice that movement feels more responsive with changes made to pacing and with several movement issues addressed to keep gameplay smooth and balanced. Weapons, recoil has been rebalanced on automatic weapons, making long-range gunplay more characteristic, rewarding tap firing and burst control. People coming from COD probably won't like that. However, Battlefield has always been known to have more recoil, be more realistic, and therefore tap firing is an absolute necessity when you are using it at a long range. Numerous weapon attachments have also been fixed, so they now display correctly in menus and in game. That was very annoying in the beta, things weren't displaying correctly, however they have fixed that. And then you've got gadgets. I won't go over that too much, you've just got some certain things. The only one that, as of note here, is the deploy beacons are now limited to one spawn per player, meaning 4 per squad total, helping maintain balance and prevent overuse. And then you've got maps and modes. Rush and breakthrough layouts have been revised for better balance between attackers and defenders. Obviously we all know Rush needed a lot of work, and that is exactly what it is getting. Operation Firestorm has been updated. Obviously majority of us haven't played it. People in the Battlefield labs would have played it, and some obviously big YouTubers have played it. UI and HUD elements are clearer with updated overlays, animated pings, new mini-map options, and smoother loadout and deploy navigation. Settings and controls have expanded with new options like volume, sliders, sprint bob reduction, and a camera roll toggle for accessibility, plus refinements across platforms. Hopefully that means I've made it a little bit easier to navigate in the menus across all of the platforms, because it was a bit of a nightmare on the beta. Audio has been cleaned up, so pings can be heard easier, weapons and vehicles sound a lot sharper, and missing delayed effects won't get in the way of your awareness. And then they just go over netcode improvements, reduce desync, make time to death feel fairer, and address cases of invisible damage. I know personally I was getting shot but nothing was happening, and then I'd just die. Didn't happen very often, it was very rare. However, it is very good to see that they are sorting this desync issue, and that the time to death will feel a lot fairer for that. And then it says, thanks again for your trust, excitement, and feedback that helped us shape Battlefield 6 experience. We will see you at launch. And yes, indeed, we will see you at launch. If any of this was helpful to you, and you're liking Battlefield 6, you're excited for the launch, and smash the like and subscribe over on the channel, because it means a massive amount to me, and we are closing in on 1,000 subscribers. I'm hoping to get there this year before Christmas. So yeah, please help me out, please smash the subscribe. There'll be more content for Battlefield 6 coming as of launch. So yeah, I hope you have a great day, and I really hope you're staying well. See ya.